Ladies and gentlemen, the Adult Baby Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Adult Babies Podcast, episode 72.
Yes.
72, I am B.
72. And I am Chick.
And I am Chris.
And we have a couple of special guests.
Yes, and we are
Boys.
excited today.
I am Mike.
And I am Christian Hahn.
That swivels, so you guys know.
Yeah, you can.
All right.
You guys are sharing a mic.
sharing a
yeah,
mic.
we have a couple of guests on. The Comedy Zest boys. Are you guys now? You guys
Zest.
are a team almost. Like
We are.
Yeah.
It's I started it, and then I'm with this kid all the time, and when you do shit alone, you need like you and Labrizzi and Nikki, like you guys, there's only so much I can do, so it's nice to have a creative,
it's good to throw some of the weight on
you
somebody else.
spitball ideas
dude,
too, right?
I work full time. I'm sure you do
Yep, I
as
do,
well,
yep.
and it's tough to balance everything.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you guys got a great thing going. You guys have a lot. You produce a lot of shows.
I'm trying to just crank them out. It's me just trying to get as much stage time as I possibly can.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, he's kind of crazy. Yeah, he produces a lot. But yeah, I mean, he commands the ship. But I'm second in command on the Comedy
That's
Zest.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys work together well.
He helps me with a lot. Like, he'll help me with shows, but he'll help me with my bits.
I was going to say,
we-
it's good
we
to
do sketch-
spitball ideas off each other,
Exactly.
right?
Like we wrote sketches.
Yeah.
They're on my page, his page. He's Mingle with Christian on Instagram. I'm Mike Nicolia Comedy.
Hey, we didn't say you can promote yourselves on here.
Oh,
All right.
sorry. I thought that was the.
No, of course.
How did you come up
Follow
with
them.
Comedy Zest? I'm curious about that, the name.
I don't know.
I like
just,
it.
I like it too, yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I was bored, and I was like, "What the fuck? What do I name the show?" And I really wanted a word that had like flavor and energy.
Okay.
So I was like,
Zest.
zest, and I was
the
like,
word.
That's it.
There you go. I like it. No, I was going to say, it is kind of catchy. Comedy Zest.
No, it
I
is
like
good.
it.
It is good. Oh, do you?
Yeah, so
Can
it's
I
kind
get-
and this is like your Wonderland, Phil, and it's just you guys produce.
Which nobody understands.
Comedy
what the hell that
shows.
I
is.
like that
I give him a hard time on it a lot.
because that is what comedy is, though. 'cause
So
it's
many,
like,
yeah.
it's so. I'm sorry.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
go.
It's so like comedy itself is so like you see it as like so like wishful and like it's like what your dreams are, and then you realize it's just all garbage.
Yeah, so like-
Well, that's what I've learned from just knowing B and his,
it's all
trials
garbage.
and tribulations. No, but you through your whole comedy career,
yeah.
you don't make money for the most part unless you blow up. So you're really doing it as more of like a passion, and it takes like a ton of time
Yeah.
and commitment, and like doing it literally for shows of like there's not many listeners at like open mics and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So like
Well,
to me, I had a new respect for all comedians
the open mic,
in that
the
regard.
open mics are difficult, but producing the shows is fun. That's where that's what I like the producing of the shows now, like what you guys are doing. That you can make some money, maybe a little bit, and then you get better audiences. As
Right,
far as
right.
I noticed.
And I think the whole thing with like putting my best foot forward with producing is I think I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I'm so tired of going to open mics.
And that's kind of why you do it, right?
I need more stage time and I need quality stage time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only person that will give it to me, because God forbid any comedy club or venue wants to book me, some do, but most of the time they don't.
I know.
I'm
It's
going to book
rough out there.
myself every time.
Yeah.
Well, there's tons of you, like comics.
Tons
Yeah.
of you. Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it's like as competitive.
There's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many of us. And I mean, you have to create your own stage time at the end of the day. That's basically what it is. Otherwise, somebody else is doing it. You book your friends. You do that's the best way to do it as far as
A lot of times, it's like people produce out of a sense of survival.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It just happens because it's so saturated that, like sometimes the clubs really don't put that good of shows.
Oh, they don't.
So
No,
there is like a business opportunity if you could put together a good show, and then when you do comedy long enough, and then you start getting booked by other people, and then
Yeah.
you realize it's like, okay, I could produce this show much better
Yeah.
Even as human being, it's
It
like,
gives-
why would you have that person host?
Yeah, it's like another
Yeah.
competitive edge you get over it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you're able to
another-
host and,
It's another creative side to it because it's an art form itself, putting together a lineup and
It is.
and
Yeah.
how the room is set up, and
Yeah.
you got to make sure all your, even if like the sound system's off.
yeah.
Yes.
If you have feedback, your whole show is shot.
Yeah.
Is completely shot.
Because
So,
everybody sound, that's like the main thing is to sound clear. Right? Or, I mean, other than be funny.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be funny, but you want the sound.
You
Yeah.
want it to
sound
be
good.
listenable. Yeah.
And you want to prove to your family that you can do it. It's
Yeah.
like, look
a
at
big
this
part of it.
awesome show I'm putting on. You know what I mean? Like,
Hell yeah.
That's a great feeling. Yep.
Brendan, you have a bit about working for your fan biz. And
Yes.
I also work for my fan biz. So it's like showing my fam, it's like, hey, I can do this.
Yeah.
And I'll show you every step of the way,
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm still trying to show my family what I can do.
You're on a very successful podcast.
Yeah, this is it.
In your
I've been meaning to
backyard.
ask you how's the David Goggins going for you?
Oh,
Last time I was on the
Oh,
show, you were
He forgot
great.
about
Oh,
it.
that's hysterical. That's because I remember that.
I thought you were turning your life around. You were
You
reading
know.
his
Look
book, and you're like this. You're like,
And everybody looks at the
is he,
pajama
is,
pants
is he still
somewhere.
selling like fax machines? Is that
Yes,
what-
I'm still doing that. Not a whole lot's changed since that, other than I'm not even pushing the Goggins. So.
He bought a couple of Goggins T-shirts that he wears.
Yeah, I
once
wear
in
a
while.
lot of Goggins T-shirts, and I still respect the
about the
guy and
gear.
follow his
It's about the gear.
Instagram. But I don't really follow his lifestyle so much as I wanted to. I
Motivation.
started
Look,
smoking cigarettes again.
What happened? Why? Because you were like into it. Like last time I was.
Well,
on
you
the
don't
show,
know me as well as they do, and that happens. I'm all in, and then I'm all out. Like I'm like a man of just I go through phases.
Yeah.
Can I say a word?
Yes,
'Cause
please.
It's something I have too.
Yes.
Hyper focus.
Yes.
Yes.
that's-
you get.
that's it. Yeah.
You're like overly into it, all about it, and then you like burn yourself out, and it's like I'm a lazy piece of shit.
That hyperfocus is something that you're
I've never
like
heard that term in
No,
I gotta start,
It's
now.
a
I gotta
symptom
look into
of
it.
ADHD.
Yeah.
I definitely have.
100%.
it.
That of which I have.
Okay, I never gotten tested for ADHD, but I definitely have it.
Well, they attach wires to your head and then they just say it. So I really don't know if it's legit, but I know a lot of people have it. They look at a piece of paper. They're like, and they walk into the room. They're like, yeah, you do. All right,
Yeah.
have a good day. It's like,
That's great. That's why I never believe half the things they tell like kids and stuff they have. They make it up. Like,
yeah,
I
but in
agree.
your case,
But I don't think I have something.
this
Oh, you have something.
Yeah.
Well, I did find out I have sleep apnea.
Yeah,
now.
I want to get into this. So you put out an Instagram post of you all hooked up to wires.
And did you like
and-
how I used the adult babies
yeah,
page instead of mine?
Yeah.
I'd rather you use that for this. Because
That's what I thought. That's what I thought you'd appreciate it.
yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this, but he did a sleep apnea test, and he just you look. I don't know what I.
He probably didn't
He
even
looks
need
like
to do
Bane.
the test.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what it was.
he looks like the worst, the most pathetic Bane I've ever seen in my entire life.
Low budget Bane.
Low budget fucking fat Bane. And so as I was telling you guys, I sleep like a fucking animal. I snore loud. I wake up choking. Like I have the worst sleeper.
Yeah, and you're like that during the day too.
And well, fuck you. I do make a lot of noises just from breathing.
Yeah,
More than a normal
There's
person
a lot
should.
of noises coming out.
So I've been meaning to get this test, and I go to a sleep doctor. I find out, like I told you last time, my lungs are good, but I had to go get an actual test, which you can't believe my lungs are fairly good. And I go into Southside Hospital at 9:00 at night to go in for my sleep study.
This is 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah, it's about 2 weeks ago. And I know I'm going to be hooked up, but I don't really know how bad it's going to be, how uncomfortable. And the guy comes in, and they basically gel your head with like this like sticky, but I mean everywhere, all over my face, my head, my chest, my back.
so how do you sleep?
That's
Yeah.
I'm getting to it.
Exactly.
It's not
How
easy.
is that an accurate test?
Well, yeah, no, I'll
feels
explain.
natural.
I'll explain.
Nice and comfy.
So
Are
they
you
do-
having small talk with this guy? You like that?
Yeah, we were. You know what's funny? We had the news on in
Yeah.
the background because like there's a TV in your room, and it was just the most depressing news. It was like one thing after another. It was
Okay.
like school shootings, everything going on that week.
And, you get
And
your
we
head
were just
gelled.
like, wow, this world's really going down the tubes. That was the small talk. Like, it wasn't anything positive.
Yeah.
And
Nothing. All right, now go to sleep.
There's nothing positive in that.
hopefully the world doesn't end while you're sleeping.
Oh, just a bunch of kids died. But that's how was your day?
Yeah, put more gel on my bald head.
Well, yeah.
Things
And
are
he
going
even told me,
great.
he's like, oh, I'm so happy you have no hair. I'm like, 'cause
I'm
guess,
not, but thanks, man.
yeah, fuck you, man. But it makes, apparently, people with full sets of hair, it's not easy to do this test. So it was
it's
nice
gonna
that
be
I was
rough.
bald. And so now he starts putting the wires. It took me about 15 minutes to get set up. Like, that's how many wires. And
Just to go to bed.
just to go to bed. So they put them all over your head. They put it all over your cheeks, my chest, my back, up to my legs. And then they attach it all to like a machine that's on like a, table, a nightstand next to the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, all right, get in bed. If you have to go to the bathroom, you have to call one of us in because we have to detach you. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to the bathroom if I have to undo all this and then redo it. And they were basically like, no, they just unhook you from like the machine and you got to carry your wires
carry
over
all
your
your wires.
shoulder to go to the bathroom. But now I'm in bed and I'm laying down. They got one of those things over my, that clamps onto your finger. And it's like, you have now figured by now it's like 9:30, 10. And it's like, you have until 3 a.m. We're going to come back in. It's called a split study. Now what they do is if you can't get 2 hours of sleep and readings on your test for the first half, you can't get the machine. Like, you don't qualify for it. So even
but
if,
isn't the
so
problem
like
that you
even
don't
if I
sleep?
have sleep apnea, but they need to be able, like for insurance purposes, I'm assuming they need to prove that you have it.
They need to get some reading.
They need to get a
before-
reading that says yes, he has sleep apnea. He
Right.
stops breathing this amount of time before I guess insurance will pay for the machine.
Can I ask a quick question? All right, last time you said you were going to be completely honest with the doctors and you were going to tell them, listen, doc, I need to smoke a blunt before I go to bed. Was that something that you did?
I didn't have to because I just got extremely high. Okay, so the night before, I didn't go to bed till like, I guess 6 that morning.
Okay.
And I woke up at like 11. So I had a few hours, but again, it's not a good sleep. And it was just a couple hours. My whole plan was to just be exhausted all day Saturday. So when I got to the sleep study, I didn't have trouble falling asleep. But I was nervous that if I got super duper high right before the test, it would affect the results. So I got high all day
Oh.
into early night and then gave myself like an hour or two before I actually went in for the test that I didn't smoke.
Okay.
Don't know if it has anything
Yeah,
to do
I
with
don't know.
it. I mean, it was just all in my head, but I was exhausted. So I was ready to sleep when I got in there. But now you have all these wires. You can't like sleep on your side. You can't really move. So you're really sleeping on your back with all this shit on you, just praying that like I fall asleep. Because then if I don't do it, I have to schedule a whole nother test and do it
yeah.
again. Because we know I have it. It's just a matter of getting it on paper. So like if we come in at 3 a.m, and, we have the machine, that means you passed. You put the machine on for the rest of the sleep study. You wake up at 6, you go home, and then we'll send the machine to your house. So
The sleep apnea machine?
the actual,
the
CPAP machine. Yeah,
Ooh.
man. So, Forrest Gump, so I finally get the remote. Like, I'm
watch
trying to,
Forrest
like, I
Gump?
feel like a weird. I'm, like, trying to move it just to get the TV going. I put Forrest Gump on. Great movie. I know it well, which that helps me fall asleep because I could close my eyes and listen, and eventually I'll just fall asleep. For whatever reason, it's usually I watch Pulp Fiction, but Forrest Gump will do.
Usually I watch
Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
Ice cream. That's what I'm saying. Like I could quote the whole movie. It was great. I passed. Like, go.
Do you fall asleep at the GIMP part of Pulp Fiction? Oh wait, it's coming. Okay, then now I can close my eyes.
That's just Sweet Dreams music.
I gotta save Bubba.
So no, usually Pulp Fiction, I barely make it through when the beginning scenes. Like
What do you mean, you fall asleep?
I'm usually listening to them in the car when they're talking about his trip.
He
to-
watches TV in the car, by the way, too. Like
Sometimes.
Like, we have to catch. You can't just say that and expect people to know
And you
how you live
and
your
you
life.
drive 100%.
No, he's
No.
He just
In the
parks
driveway.
in the driveway and
All right.
watches.
As you
TV.
see, I live with my parents. I
Right.
can't smoke in the house. So in the summer, I smoke back here.
All right.
In the winter, it's fucking freezing out.
Right.
I'll park my car in the driveway and I'll put my iPad on and I'll get high and watch it. This year, I'm going to try not to do that. I haven't, but
Well, now you have the mask.
Can I ask you about the car show in front of your house?
my neighbor does work on cars and he's got about 40,000 cars.
Yeah, I was like, it looks like a car
Every
show.
time you come in this court, it's packed. We're the most packed court in Long Island.
I parked like next to your neighbors, like it was one of his. Like, I was
he
like,
probably won't even know. He thinks it's next.
Yeah,
you
I
might
park
come
all
with
the
an
way down
oil
the
change
block.
when you're done.
I was like, there's a lot of cars on this
Oh
block.
no, dude! There's way too many cars.
I was like, how many people are on this
There's
podcast?
there's
We
parking.
got a lot. We got a
There's
lot.
parking wars and there's issues. This is got to keep it real out there.
Fights out there?
Well, there's been a couple
Yeah.
over like spots and a
So
lot
tell us
of-
one story.
Yeah, come
tell
on.
us like the main.
The main one.
I'm sure you guys started. You guys.
No, we're not that we the guy. Okay, one of my favorite stories was watching my two neighbors, the one right to the left of me and the one to the left of him. Now, the one to the left of him, everybody on the block hates him. At one point or another, everybody in this court has gotten into an altercation with him,
Okay.
including myself.
Yes,
I like that. I love that.
Everybody has.
Yeah.
So now they're out there doing like snow blowing, and with all the cars, sometimes it's hard to where you're putting the snow. Like when you're blowing,
Oh,
you
you're
want to
blowing
make a play.
snow into other people's yards or other people's.
Well, if you're blowing it, you might be blowing it in front of their driveway.
Okay.
I don't know how it started, but I saw the two of them just snow blowing each other. Like taking the snow and like
Oh, the two
blowing it.
neighbors.
The two neighbors. Just it was like some shit out of a movie or like one of those commercials where the neighbors are fighting where they're like, he's blowing snow on him and now he's blowing it on him.
I've never heard snow blowing each other. That's like a 69 snow blow. Did anyone else picture 69? Because I kind of did.
Snowy 69. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it gets real out
Blowing
here.
him, I'm blowing it.
These neighbors hate each other, but they're blowing themselves.
There's been somebody who's spitting one of the neighbors' faces.
Whoa.
There's been a lot of issues.
Yeah.
That's real. I've seen that happen at a bar. Like, that is real.
That's
That's worse than a punch.
It
It's
really.
like-
It is.
I was just gonna say, I'd almost rather
Way
somebody
worse.
punch me than spit on me
Of course you would.
because it's I don't know.
I was walking down McDougal Street, by the Comedy Cellar one
Yeah.
night. So I'm walking by and I'm looking at my phone, and some guy goes to spit, and he spit right in my face.
Oh.
Like totally didn't
on
mean it.
accident.
Did you kick his ass?
No, I don't think anybody's ass.
Brendan booked him the next week.
That guy's name is Nick Labrisi. We run the show
You're a
together.
physical comedian, huh? You really like act outs.
Hey, that guy just had the worst set.
It was so embarrassing because I'm like, oh, it's okay, and I have a beard, so it's in my beard, and then
That's what makes it worse for you is because you can't just like brush it off. It's
No,
in
it was
there.
in there.
You smell it.
yeah, it did, and then to make it worse, like I get nervous in those situations because I don't know how to act.
Now I
like
gotta
I'm
fight
not,
him.
Yeah, I'm not somebody to fight, so I like pretended I was on the phone. I'm like, oh, it's okay, and I took my phone and I was like, hello, have you ever? I pretend to be on my phone a lot. I'm just,
Do you guys know how
I
socially
pretend to
awkward he
text.
is?
I don't know if I fake phone calls.
Yeah, I fake phone call just to get out of it.
No, I mean everybody fakes on their phone. I usually when I'm taking a picture of somebody, I'm faking doing something on it, and I'm really taking a picture.
I
of
like
them.
the headphones with no
tactic.
music playing move.
Yeah, that
That's
I
a
did.
good move.
Well, when there's nothing playing, but you just act like you don't hear
Yeah,
somebody.
Nothing bothers me more than when I have mother effing headphones in and someone on the train platform says, "Is this the one to the city?"
Oh yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
it's only going one way.
Well, I mean, it goes east too, but like,
Yeah, this is okay.
most
Fair
of the
enough.
time we're going west, people.
Yes.
I feel like when anybody like ever asks you for directions involving a train, I feel like it's either really way too general or it's way too specific.
Wait, yes.
It's either like, hey, how do I get to Manhattan? Or they'll like do like a really specific restaurant. Is this the way to Delmonico's? But nothing where it's like a street number or like even close,
Yeah.
even a section of the borough.
I don't for a second act like I know where I'm going. If anybody asks me directions, I check out. I'm like, I don't know where to go.
Even if he
I
knows,
usually- yeah.
he'd rather
I just
tell them he
don't-
doesn't know than give them the directions and have
Also,
to
why are you
explain
asking
it.
for directions? We all have maps in our pocket. Like,
That's what bothers me too. Like if you have a phone and you can't figure out where to get, as long as you have an address, you're retarded.
So my dad is an old school Italian, and he just assumes that no one has Waze or Google Maps. Take the 135 south, hop on the Southern State, take the Pine Lawn, go down, make a right by the 7-Eleven, make a left.
Every direction he gives you
If
is. He gives you literally.
if you hit the Chick-fil-A, you've gone too far. I don't think there's any Chick-fil-A in that
they're
direction.
opening one up now.
Right.
on
Oh
110.
yeah.
Big deal.
You a Chick-fil-A
nice.
guy?
I've never had, but I've heard nothing but good things.
I feel like everything on 110 is like a successful business.
It's all
You
successful
think so?
business.
I feel like
It
they
is such a
always
successful
chains.
throughway.
A lot of change.
a lot of
yeah.
okay. That I'll
Yes.
get.
So
That's what
110 and
changed.
231 is like the all like everything you've ever wanted in
Yep.
your fat ass life
Yeah.
is on that strip.
Every late night TV commercial.
Right.
It's
true.
like the Vegas Strip for guys that look like Chick. Just nonstop fun and.
But I prefer Hempstead Turnpike
oh yeah,
I don't.
What's on Hempstead Turnpike?
because I'm kind of close to it. It's closer and
Right.
easier for me to hit.
I
it.
used to live in West Hempstead. So
Oh, yeah?
You're
Hempstead
all the way
Turnpike to me is
down
like
Hempstead Turnpike. But you had that one. There's in near West Hempstead. I think it's in Elmont actually.
what?
The 24-hour deli that is actually very good.
A&S?
Cherry
No.
Valley,
Cherry Valley.
Yes, that's
which
the one I
they've
was thinking.
I went
expanded.
to-
now they're in
yeah.
Long Beach. They're
wow.
yeah.
That's the
They're
one
in
I was thinking
Queens,
of.
yeah.
Are they?
They're in Queens. They're in like Whitestone. I've never been to that one, but like, yo, I went to Adelphi, so like A&S and Cherry Valley was my jam.
Are there any A&S's by us?
Isn't A&S
Isn't there
Bagels
one-
on Hempstead Turnpike in like Franklin Square?
Ah,
that's a little too
see, I don't
far.
know if I
Far.
remember that. But yeah, I mean that's kind of far for us. But the Levittown Taco Bell on Hempstead Turnpike is the best
All
run
right.
fast food
Well,
joint
it's very well
that
lit.
in the
I
country.
will say that.
I would
I
put it up
pass it when
against
I
the
leave
country.
In the country?
In the country.
How many
What is
Taco
so good
Bells
about
have you
it?
been to?
I don't care about any other fast food place. I just know how well run it is. It's just they never mess up your order. I've seen lines around the block that go like that. It's just a clean, well-run
They
oiled
have like the
machine.
neon lights, right?
Yeah, and it's one of the newer like they've
I like the newer
refreshened
Taco
it.
Bells better.
Is it half Pizza Hut?
No,
Ooh, the
it's a
little-
straight Taco Bell.
I think that's the problem. Or did they get rid of all the half Pizza Huts? Or were
Is Pizza Hut
There's
even
still
a
a
thing
couple,
anymore?
I think,
No,
around.
there's definitely. I think the one on maybe 110 still has half
Pizza Huts
right?
are just not around enough anymore.
Nothing says
I used
fat. Nothing says fatty. Like, can I get a crunch wrap and a pepperoni
Yeah.
and a giant soda? Thank you.
Giant
Thank
soda.
you.
Or
That's
no,
why
even a Diet Coke.
the large
I'm
trying to
sodas
watch
in
my
fast
figure.
food places are just like 32
Oh
ounces.
God!
It's
you get a
absurd.
small.
Put
it's-
out a fire with
exactly.
And like I'm a soda drinker and I can't even finish them. It's like Jesus
Oh, you can
Christ.
finish.
Yeah,
All
come
right,
on,
I can
buddy.
finish them, but I'm just saying
We were talking
it's
about
not as easy.
right. We were talking about stuff that bothers us. What recently has bothered me, I work in construction, so I deal with a lot of people that speak Spanish, which is cool. They're nice people. I don't like when they and people that also speak English say this. You're on the phone with them and they go, "Hey, listen."
Oh yeah.
And then they say, it's like, I'm already
Yeah,
listening.
I'm already listening.
Listen. It's really been bothering me lately. I've actually just hung up. I
And by the
actually
way,
hung up on one guy.
If I wasn't listening, if I was drowning you out, you saying "listen" is
not
not going
me.
to snap me back into the
That's
conversation.
not helping the situation.
Right. Well, when you deal with
Oh,
customers
I
on the
haven't tried
phone,
that
you,
yet.
yeah, you let the customer do most of the talking. At least in my profession, that's what I do.
No, you listen.
Right. You listen to the customer. I
Listen,
can't
yeah.
listen. The other day I went click.
You hung up. Good for you.
Oh, we got disconnected. I'm so sorry.
That's excellent.
Good for you. How's
You
that
know-
construction life? Are you out on the field?
No, I work in a dispatch office and I dispatch concrete trucks. It's a lot of fun.
It's all
like it?
Italians.
It's Italians.
Sounds like
it's-
such a
Bury a lot of
That's-
bodies?
sounds like
Yeah.
such a connected business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, I
Do
mean,
we have to watch what we say around here?
no. I'll be honest with you. If I could describe it, it's 6 days a week of consistently hanging up, and I feel like to have this job, you actually have to have ADHD because there's so many different details to pay attention to.
All right.
Yeah.
That you have
But-
to switch it up. You
Yeah,
gotta go
yeah.
pay attention to different things.
Yeah, it's
Alright.
it's a lot on the phone. Comedy's like where I blow off my steam, and
That's I definitely want because I've heard Christians, I've seen Christian. I don't know has he done any of your shows?
Of course, yeah.
I did.
I've only been
I
to
did a guest
QED.
spot. I did a guest spot at the QED.
Yeah.
That was
See, then I haven't done.
These
I haven't
guys don't
seen
like
it.
to go further than Nassau County.
Right,
So it's
well,
tough to-
even my friends that live in
I'm
the
the
city.
worst.
My
Yeah.
friends that live in the city, they're like, "Where's your show?" I'm like, "Oh, blah blah blah." Well, they're like, "Oh, well, your show's not at my doorstep, so I
Yeah.
guess I can't go."
Yeah.
That's so true though,
There's
because
2
it's not.
transfers. I don't think I'll make that show.
It's 6 blocks away. I'm out.
People are ridiculous.
Oh, you have to pay? Oh, no, I'm good. Thank you, man.
Yeah, everybody wants a free show, but you know what?
I did a free show at Bowery, which is an awesome place.
That is a great place.
I
How
could
was that
see-
show?
It went very well, and when you're on the Lower East Side, the decision to DM bigger comedians,
Yep.
is well worth it when you make that decision. I had Joe Mackey on there,
Hilarious.
and it was
Yeah.
cool to just be in the same room as the key players, the main players in New York City. It's
So
like
wait,
a-
when you said DM, you actually just DM big comics to see if and they
Right
answer?
in there.
and some of them answer, some of them don't, some of them do.
I'm all about it. Just reach out. What's the worst that could happen?
Right,
Yeah.
right. It was actually what
I
made
wish
me-
B
Yeah.
would take some notes from you.
I reach
that's
out.
wrong because what I was about to say was
Yeah, what are you talking
I got a little more brave when I saw that Brendan booked Tim Dillon.
Yeah.
And
then
Tim Dillon was-
Tim Dillon
it was-
canceled on me.
Right, but at least
Is that the episode you listened to?
But he did show up for the QED show. Were you at that one?
I wasn't at that
Oh.
specific one, but I saw the picture of him
Yeah.
over there. But no, but
it.
Brendan made me realize oh yeah, this is kind of what I'm doing it for. It's
Yeah.
damn, if I want to play with the big boys, I gotta make it happen.
You got to reach out.
And when you book someone that does it full time as a career, there's a little thought in your mind. It's wow, maybe I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes you realize they're just
And you
yeah,
never
they're
know.
all we're all on the same page, and it's kind of depressing because it's I'll be just waiting for spots my entire life. I'll just be waiting.
You never know which guy may like you and
That's true.
help you out, or you know what I mean. I'm not
I
saying
crushed
it's
these gummy
possible.
worms, by the way.
Tr-
Oh, I
they're,
crushed
They're for the table.
they're just you
They're
never know
mostly
what's
for
going to
me.
happen. You never know.
No, you got to reach out for these guys. Everybody wants to do a spot, especially if you're in Manhattan. It's easy. That's great. Joe Mackey is really funny too. How'd he do?
Joe Mackey did great. He actually tried a few new ones, which hey, whatever. It's a free show. Do it, man.
I'm reading between the lines. He didn't do that great. Is that what you're telling me?
No,
Wow.
I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
I would never say that on broadcast. Nah, he did.
I'm just
nah, he did great. He had one of his bits. I love one of his bits. He goes, "I didn't think Google would break any privacy." I'm saying it all wrong. I didn't think Google would breach anyone's privacy up until they took a picture of everyone's house and put it on the internet forever.
That's great.
His writing is really brilliant.
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
He's hilarious. That room is that's a great room too, because it's one of those. It's like a tight room,
Right.
so you get a few people in there, and it's a good room.
I had my buddy do music before the show, so it's it was 75% like his people.
oh,
and then,
that's cool. So what he
25%
did?
mine.
He what does he do?
My buddy plays guitar, and another one of my buddies that I went to high school with plays keyboard.
Oh, nice.
So they got one of their bass buddies, and they were kicking it.
Ah, that's awesome.
So it was cool to mix
That's pretty
it up,
cool.
music and comedy.
That is cool.
Have
I
you
like
done that, Brendan?
No,
Right.
I thought about. I did try.
You're such
Even
an
the
orthodox.
British should do it.
Yeah.
You're an orthodox comic. Where it's
No, no,
comedy is comedy, baby.
You know what? I want to do a show like a show that's just out there and get like different stuff involved.
Right.
But then I'm like, is that gonna hurt the comedy or
I feel like a
I don't think
variety
I
show
think it would
be
help.
cool.
It's a good
Yeah.
way to get people to listen to the comedy.
That's true.
Yeah.
You get somebody who's into music and then they have to listen to some comedy. It might be like, oh, that was funny.
You know what's the best part about music? They if you put them up first, they take the bullet, and by
That's
that
true.
is you
Yeah.
can because when you do music, they don't really need an intent audience. But once you fill the room and everybody's sitting down and the music's already playing and then they
Yeah.
play a hit that everybody knows, and then you got everybody. They can take the hit where then your host goes up and he doesn't really. I mean, your host is still gonna have a colder set,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have to worry about people filing in.
Yeah.
hmm
Wow.
And they're already sort of paying attention. They know, all right, we're gonna look at this way.
yeah.
Which the first, it's always that first couple people, they're always just trying to figure, especially if it's somebody that doesn't go to a lot of comedy shows.
Yeah.
Some of these people just don't pay attention to the first two.
They got to settle in.
Yeah.
They got to settle in, and then once the music's playing and they're sitting down,
that's a good point.
They all of a sudden they're like they know it's a show, and then also the band can introduce the host, which helps because then the host doesn't have to go up to nothing.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So there's a few things it kind of helps with.
All right.
I will say, my buddy, like, not that he's my best friend since high school, and not to like toot his horn, but like they're really good.
He's really good.
So
that
like,
helps too.
if they're kicking it,
Really helps.
and those vibes are going, and then they bring up the host. I hosted that night. Like, dude, that was a hot crowd.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
And it's like a different crowd. I feel like it just spice it up a little bit. It's not like your
Zest.
typical.
right.
Yeah, a little zest on
I
that.
mean, I
flavor,
could be
baby.
wrong,
Let
but
Yeah.
you know.
That's
No,
my
no.
dude right there.
No, I like that.
I also liked how this all sprung off of Forrest Gump.
What?
What?
You were
This is
telling
the
my
root
story.
of this conversation.
The root of this conversation. I was mid-story. I mentioned Forrest Gump, and then we went off on that tangent.
Yeah, because your story was boring, so we had to switch. No, I'm kidding.
No, I don't even care. No, I just think it's funny how things, I
It
liked
is.
I
That
thought
is
it was
funny.
funny.
That
And then
is.
Pulp Fiction, and then that was.
Long story short,
Yeah.
we don't care that you have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit.
Exactly.
No one gives a shit that you snore and it wakes yourself up.
We were really just waiting for that story to end.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were looking for a way out. That's good though. Well, yeah, I'm glad that you are doing well. Is there anything else you want to talk about? You're
No,
happy?
I'm done with the story. I'm not going back to it now.
Brendan.
Yeah.
You're wifed up, right?
No,
Are you not dating anyone?
I'm not. No,
Look
I
at
did
him.
for a while, but I've lost control of my life.
I think it's dude, it's
You got
definitely.
anything for me?
I should ask you the same shit, and I'm probably the last person you should be asking. But no, man, I think my point was right now. It's tough to do comedy and produce podcasts when you're wifed up,
Yes.
because it's totally another thing. Like, first of all, if I have a wife, I want her to be hot,
Mm-hmm.
and a hot wife is not going to be into open mics,
No.
podcasts.
Have you ever brought a woman to an open mic? By the way,
Did I?
either of you guys?
I brought this girl that I met on Hinge. I brought her to a show, and the show went so bad.
Oh man.
I got there, so it was at this place that used to be a movie theater. That's when you know
Was it on Long Island?
it's on Long Island. I'm not
Oh,
gonna.
man.
I'm not
You don't
gonna
say
say
it.
because it's really funny, but
Yeah.
it was just poorly done. And it used to be a movie theater. I'm with Travis Grant,
Yep.
and it's like we thought we were in like the main theater, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this is the coolest gig ever. And then they're like, nah, we got a little room. And I'm like, huh? And it's like a little movie theater. And we're like, all right, whatever. I think it was like 25, 30 seats,
Right.
whatever. No one's in the room. And then I go,
Yikes.
where is the microphone?
Oh no.
A microphone in stand-up is just as important as a microphone in a podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, where the fuck is this microphone? Oh, I thought you needed one? I'm like, you're joking.
What?
So I hunt down a microphone. I get a speaker, whatever. I get Travis. I'm like, Travis, you've been doing comedy a couple more years than me. Open this up. I can't do it. And I go, plus, I'm with this girl. Like, just do it.
Please help
Travis
me out.
goes up. He survives.
Yeah. He makes it through.
I go up. I see in the right-hand corner the girl that I forced there. Meanwhile, she's by my side where I'm like, I got to go get the microphone. So she's immediately like, what did I do? This guy picked me up. I can't even jump ship right now.
How well did you know this girl?
He said it was the
First
first
date.
date.
It was the first date. I'm sorry.
I was because
Can I ask what you were thinking for the first date to do this? I don't like that. You thought
Yes.
this was gonna go
Sure.
good?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be really honest.
Yes, please.
This is gonna be like the raw truth.
That's what we want. We want the raw truth.
I had been seeing another one. I was going on a date with this one to get over the other one because I got hung up on her for whatever stupid reason.
Yeah, well, we all
Happens
get
to the
hung
best
up.
of
Yep.
us.
I went to a therapist. This
Yeah.
is where it gets real.
Oh, all right.
The therapist, I go, hey, I'm going to cancel on this girl. I have a gig. It's paid. I'm doing it. It's paid, but there's no effing microphone. I'm doing it.
That's why you're getting paid.
And listen, comedy's first. This is always going to be first. I'm going to bail on her. And my therapist was like, that's dumb. He goes, switch the movie date to your gig date. He goes, bring her to the gig and take her to dinner after, have drinks, laugh. He goes, no matter how well or bad that gig goes. Obviously, he had wishful thinking.
Yeah. Notice he put laughing after the gig.
Right. And he goes, whatever it is, take her for drinks after, go to her, have a good time, and enjoy your life a little bit, Michael. And so I did just that, and I just totally blew it.
Oh, my God.
No, he has 2 girls who don't want to fuck him.
Oh, that's brutal.
That is, because I'm just thinking, like, you never know how those gigs are going to go, right? And it's not like you've been to this place
It's such
prior.
a crapshoot.
So I just feel like it's a ballsy move to take a girl on a
is.
first date. But
Yeah.
that's what I mean. I respect it, and God
But
bless you for trying.
If you're willing to like lose her, it's like
Then
it's a you know it's
perfect excuse.
Yeah.
well it's a home run because if you crush,
right.
if you crush, she's gonna love you.
The
Yeah.
payoff
She's
is
gonna be like-
fantastic.
Payoff could be
She's
fantastic.
gonna be like oh my god, like what, you know, and then
this man?
yeah, he's so talented,
and like so talented.
and then if you don't do well, it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
biggest loser on
But-
earth.
Oh, God.
Yeah, she won't even look you in the eye when you bomb on stage.
Have you had
especially at
those
a
shows where people don't look you in the eye?
Yeah.
Oh, I've had them. I've had friends where I stopped talking to them because I was so embarrassed. I was like, I'm sorry. Like those. Oh, it's worse. It's the worst.
I did Mulcahy's in was that Belmore or
Yeah.
whatever? Wantagh. And it's like, you know, it's about like 300 people there, and it's a fundraiser for the Lions Club of Wantagh. Which like the Lion.
Yeah.
Wantagh?
Did you
Wait,
just?
what?
Did you say Wantagh? I heard the same thing.
What'd I say?
I thought that was
have
the
a
name.
stroke?
You
Wantagh?
pronounced the G.
Yeah, it's a silent G.
I've been saying Wantagh my entire
Maybe
life.
that's why the audience. Happy to be here in Wantagh.
You know, I work with someone that says Yapank. I'm like, dude.
I'm glad you called that. I was like, did he just say
When
Wantagh?
he said Wantagh, I thought he was talking about a place, and that was the name. I'm like,
That was Wantagh. No one's ever corrected me entire life.
Long Island is such a bad place to visit
Yeah.
because you could totally roast people who can't pronounce the towns.
Yeah.
Like Pachogi and
Pachogi. Oh my God! I can't believe you grew up on Long Island. You didn't know.
Yeah,
what?
but I'm like I live in Dix Hill, so I'm like a little deeper into Suffolk.
okay.
Oh, you live 20 minutes north.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Our town is surrounded by a moat, so the poor people can't get in.
Oh God! So how?
I call Dix Hills Fancy Deer Park.
it is. It's
Yeah.
so true.
Or fancy Wheatley Heights, whatever the way you look at it. Right?
Yeah, it depends because it does border Wheatley Heights.
Wheatley Heights is a tough area.
Yeah.
I say that when I want to get black cred.
Yeah.
Because like
Nah, I'm from
Wheatley
Wheatley
Heights is technically Wyandanch, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, I grew up next to Wyandanch. Like, stop. Come on.
That's pretty much the same neighborhood.
But anyway, so I'm
seen it all.
I'm at Mulcahy's doing a fundraiser for the Lions Club, which is just like a men's club.
Yeah.
for,
I don't even know
What
that
do
is.
they
I don't-
do, actually?
I've always seen
It's
them.
like a men's fraternity almost, but it's like just the reason for guys to be in the club.
All
right.
What I believe. Anyways, so it's a fundraiser, and some of the proceeds go to like high school kids getting scholarships for college. And this is like I'm like 9 months into comedy, and like this is like the biggest show I've ever done. And and
Are
then
you on that big stage? Like that
it's a
main
gigantic stage, and you're like 45 feet in the air on the stage.
Yeah, you're way up.
the
Yeah.
highest stage ever.
So I go up, and the guy who produced the show, who's a nice guy, and he was like, you got 15 minutes, right?
Oh no!
I'm 9 months into comedy. Like
gives
I
me
have,
anxiety.
You
three-
said I got a nice hard 5.
I got, I don't even have 5.
I have a solid 3.
I have 3 jokes that work. So
Can you describe the set, please? I really just want to know.
it's so I go up. So the comic that leads on before me, right? He's a younger guy. He's around my age, and his whole act is about how he survived cancer.
Oh boy.
Oh my god!
It's
All
like
right.
Follow
It's all about him having cancer.
Was
And
it
his-
funny or
and
was it
his
just
dr-
like
and his
heartfelt? What was it?
It was well because he didn't mention that he survived cancer the first few minutes of his set, and he was eating it. He was just bombing so hard. He was bombing so hard, and I know his set. I'm like, yo, he's gonna drop the cancer.
he's gonna have to drop the
Here's a sick part of my head.
Kid you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. And here's a sick part of my head, and I'm like, that fucking pussy.
He's gonna use the cancer.
He survives cancer, and now he's gonna use it as a crush. Crush. What a piece of shit, huh? So this whole thing is like, he's like, I had cancer, and like, no, I have hair now and shit. So, and everybody.
You're horrible.
Is that what it was? All right.
Yeah, I'm getting up there.
I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but
Yeah.
so it's all that. So it's like he's not even getting laughs, but every single joke's getting an applause break, right? And he's crushing the demographic. It's middle
Well,
aged.
he's got the Wantog crowd in his hands.
Right, he's right in the palm of his hand.
Yeah.
So it's a Wantog moms, the 60-year-old moms who are just eating this shit up. So yeah, clapping after everything. So he goes. So basically, he gets like a standing ovation when he leaves stage, and then I gotta follow him.
Yeah.
So I don't have a miracle in my life.
I
So
was just gonna say, what? You never beat cancer?
In a way, his cancer is killing your set.
it is.
You're
It is
dying
killing me.
because of his cancer.
It's transferred to me in some sense. So I go up after him, and I go on stage, and I used to do this terrible bit about how I like girls with big noses.
By the way, I think I do too.
Which most of the moms from Wantagh highly relate to.
Oh,
So I start with that, and like you can tell, like the audience is like, "What the fuck? What is going on?"
From cancer to big noses, huh?
Yeah, and so that's bombing super hard. And so I go and I have a few other jokes, and then I get like halfway through my set, and I look down through my watch, and I'm like, I'm all out of my regular material, and it's like I'm like 4.5 minutes in.
oh
Got
my
10
god.
minutes to kill.
And so I'm like shit. And like I remember like before, like I guess earlier that day, I watched like a YouTube video of Patrice O'Neal, and he's like, when you bomb, he's like, you bomb even harder. Give them what you don't let them win. Like some
Let him
along
have it, yeah.
like along the lines of that, right? So I have that in my head. So I'm like, fuck it. So I go, and like my set's pretty clean up until that point. So I go, me and my buddies like to make bets on who's the next person to die from my graduating high school class. And I get an audible gasp from
my God.
from 400 people. And then I go, the joke goes, I ran into a kid that I went to high school with at the grocery store. He said, "Hey, Christian, how are you doing?" I said, "Hey, you ever think about riding a motorcycle without a helmet?" I heard the only way to ride a motorcycle is without a helmet. And these people are just dead silent, like,
Who's this monster?
what is he?
You piece of shit.
And then the final punch of the joke, the final punchline is actually like 2 weeks before I wrote that joke, a kid I went to high school with died of a drug overdose. So like, long story short, I made $60, and they just hit. Whoa! So like the where it's like, oh, and like you felt like the power behind it, like
oh
in
my
the
god, yeah.
and I bombed. And when I got off the stage, I got off the stage, and I remember just nobody looking at me. And like one guy who would like before the show, he like shook my hand. He's like, "Thanks for doing the show."
Yeah.
Like before the show. And I remember walking past him, like him literally just looking down at the ground, not making eye contact.
That's the worst.
And then after the headliner, they bring us.
You got to go back on stage.
They bring us all back up on stage. We got to bow, And they're like, thank you. God. And like, and then after like you go down and there's like these line of like 5 Lions Club guys and they're shaking everybody's hand. So I'm shaking and then it gets to the last guy. So I shake these 4 guys, gets to the last guy and he doesn't shake my hand.
What an asshole though.
And I sprint out of that place. And it was the worst. Ever.
That guy's an asshole. Shake your hand, be a man. Like, so you know, whatever. It was, to me, the offensive joke, 1, was funny. 2, that's why they're funny. Because half the crowd should be offended by your jokes.
It was the wrong crowd.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Right joke, wrong crowd.
Plus, you were very early at the stand-up, so it was, you know, even bombing is hard to handle.
The chips are stacked against me because I had... before me was Cancer Kid.
Yeah.
And then after me was a comic I think we all know who he's a big fat Italian man and he goes up on stage and literally just goes, "How you doing?" And I swear to God, that's all he said. I watched the lady almost fall out of her seat from laughter. And I wanted to just kill myself.
That's all he's got to say is, how you doing?
I want to hear about a Brendan Ryan bomb.
Oh, man. All right. So there's hundreds. But
what's the worst?
I'll tell you
bomb.
The worst. It was at Stand Up New York. And it was a bringer show at Stand Up New York, which was brutal in itself. And I might have been like maybe a year or 2 into comedy. And
tell our fans, listeners, what
a bringer is just basically when you have to bring people, which in a way I'm still doing. Producing shows is just
producing is just a bringer on steroids, baby.
Exactly.
It's a lot of phone calls.
So I had brought I had a few friends that never saw me. I had a couple good sets, and then there was a few people that like, I heard you're really good. I want to come see you. So I go up, and I was like, and you know when you just know, like early on, this isn't like. We still have shitty nights now, but like that first year or 2, like I was always on the verge of like bombing. I was like, I know this is just not going to go well. And I got up and they were filing in. Stand Up New York was packed. Have you guys done Stand Up New York? Stand Up New York, like the stage is right on top of the tables. So
I've yet to do that club.
The table's like connected to the
tables
stage.
are almost so weird. Like the people in the front row, they're eating wings like basically at your feet. So they're right there. And these people went on. I went on and I had a bad vibe right from the get go. I went up and I went blank. Whatever I was gonna say, my mind went blank. I lost everything I was gonna say. All of my shitty jokes that weren't funny to begin with flew out of my head, and I went up there and. There was 2 guys in the front row from Tampa Bay, Florida. I'll never forget that because I started talking to them about Tampa Bay. I have no idea about anything about Tampa Bay, and I started talking to them about Tampa Bay, and it just went nowhere. And I remember one guy just staring at me, and I was like, I started sweating, and then there was a guy sitting right behind my friends, the table where my friends were, and he goes, "Get the fuck off stage." And I didn't hear it, but my friends heard it, and they were like, "Oh, he's doing his best." It was so embarrassing.
The guy said, "Get the fuck off
stage." He said, "Get off the fuck."
What an asshole, man.
And usually with these bringer shows, I would do the bringer shows at Stand Up New York, and then we go out to a bar afterwards, have a few drinks, get some food, and hang. Every single one of my friends were like, "All right, man, I think we're just gonna head out."
I'd rather sit on the LIRR than hang out with you.
Every single one of them left me.
I'd rather get stuck at Jamaica Station than hang out with your ass.
I remember sitting at Stand Up New York by myself, just like really like, is this?
Am I just for me?
Yeah. No, it was really one of those moments where I was like contemplating. I'm like, is this something I want to do? And somehow I continued to do it. And like,
this is why I respect comics. It was because of a night like that. I would never go back.
It was god awful. And I remember I went out. There was a place right around the block, and I got wings and whatever. There was like a game on, and I got a beer and got some wings and just like sat by myself and just was like, this is what it is. I guess this is my life. I don't know. This is my life. Is this a good decision? It was awful. I felt awful. I had to like apologize. I texted my friends the next day. I'm sorry because it was an epic bomb where I just didn't have it.
Those are great though.
Oh,
they're so like
so
you
bad.
grow from it.
You do.
It's like there's no fucking victory without tragedy. And, you know what I mean? It's like the
it hurts just even
the more
thinking about it.
something my coach used to say to me because I ran cross country. You wouldn't believe it if you looked at me.
Cross country.
Yeah, I lost like
I was
30
just gonna
pounds.
say, is that one of those like you're on the track and field team, but you do the shot put?
No, it was cross country, and my coach was a ex-Marine, which you actually have to say retired Marine because if you say ex-Marine, he like kills you.
Is he still in the rain?
Yeah, he's
Right. And he had an old saying: "The less you sweat in practice, the less you bleed in war."
Ooh, I like that.
Was this bomb new material? Because nothing hurts more than bombing with planned material that you've been doing for a while.
Mine was. It was early on, so it was pretty new. I was getting to the point where I was trying to mix in new stuff, and it just I think that's what threw me off, where I was mixing in new stuff, and I was like just not confident in it.
Right.
So that it was a little. I was like, I'm going to start with. It was just so
He
bad.
bombed with the good and the bad stuff.
Yeah. Well, nothing was good. Nothing was
I'm
good.
just busting.
And then the worst part about that was, I remember going to the back, just like, oh my god, it was so bad. And I remember the comic. It was Vanessa Hollingshead. Do you guys know her?
It rings a bell.
She was like considered one of the pro comics. She went up and she got up on stage right after me, and her first line was, "What the fuck was that?"
Oh,
And I remember her like holding her head, like, "What the fuck was that?" It was so bad. It was so bad. Oh my God.
There's nothing like doing a show at Westbury. I did Westbury Theater because I won a radio contest.
Oh, you did the radio thing.
And Rich Voss goes after me, and like my entire family is at Westbury Music Fair to see me, and Rich Voss goes, "I don't know who the fuck that was," and like I just hear an entire theater of people like die in their seats, like just like they're like, that kid sucks.
Oh my God. Because it's almost like now everybody agrees. Everybody agrees that you suck.
That's why you guys. I mean, hey, you guys take beatings out there and you go back.
One of my favorite things I've ever
It's
heard.
like a boxer.
Rich Voss. You guys know Greg and Rob, the twins.
Yes, I've heard of them. I've never seen their
All right,
act.
they're hilarious. So Rich Voss, there was something where Rich Voss was they were doing a show and Rich Voss was there, and after their set, he said, "I've mentioned on the podcast because it's the funniest line I've ever heard." Like in the moment, he goes, "Oh, they'd be a lot funnier if they were attached at the head." And it's just like such a simple, dumb line, but oh my God, so great. Those guys will. Rich Voss is he's hilarious.
I don't want to talk about comedy too much because I don't want to single you guys out.
No, don't worry about it.
I don't know. Like,
I have plenty of time on this show to
Yeah.
to waste people's time with my life, and I love hearing about the comedy. To be honest, personally,
it's hard, man. It's like trial and error. I heard Christian say that once. It's trial and error, man.
It is. Yeah. You literally go there, you bomb one day, you're great the next day, and it could be the same exact stuff, just different people. You never know what you're gonna get, and to do it without getting paid, and to take the treks to go to this show, that show, all over the fucking place, people don't realize that even the big comics all like went through it, and it's just like it's not easy. Everyone thinks it's so easy. You're funny in a group of friends. You could be a stand-up. Like everybody, you should do stand-up. Writing jokes.
Yeah. It comes. Holy shit! It comes from my friends telling me that I should do it,
but it doesn't mean that you were going to be good.
Like
you know what I mean? It's still
funny.
work,
right? And it's the whole thing is building a bridge from being a funny person to being a comedian.
Yeah,
it's like that's what's happening.
Because when you're funny with your friends, it's not necessarily going to translate to an audience of people you don't know. So you got to like.
I think Cal Cagno put this as a status on Facebook, and I actually loved it. I was so funny before I took up comedy.
Yes, I remember that, and that's so true. I felt like that so many times, like doing because then you get stuck in you get stuck in that routine of doing comedy, and you're like, am I even funny anymore? I'm just like writing and trying. I
think the thing when you do stand up, you realize how more general and broad you have to be, like
yes.
with what you talk about, because with your friends you're really specific, and it's always intertwined with inside jokes.
Yes, that's
and
true.
things that
That's what it is. Yeah.
and like specific situations where you're from, specifically even to your town.
Yeah.
And then when you get up on the stand-up stage, I think a lot of the times why you bomb is just like people just don't even know what you're talking about, or you reference something.
that they
Because
don't.
you see like new comics and they'll like go up on stage and they'll talk about like a rap artist and then realize only one person in the crowd knows who the fuck they're talking about.
It's true though.
And-
Or even worse, they'll talk about their friend. Like my friend, you're not gonna believe my friend Tom. He's got the CPAP. He's got air coming in. You know, it's like that doesn't. Nobody cares about your friend Tom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you got to make it. I don't know.
I think half the battle of writing comedy is using the correct grammar to get your
The
premise
right words,
across. Because I like wrote something a while ago. It was like I'm Italian, so all my transactions. It was like my transactions on Venmo show up as none of your business because I'm Italian and I don't want people knowing what I do with my money. I wrote it and then I massaged it, and then what you have to do is edit as much as you write.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that of like, because I'm Italian and I don't want people to know what to do with my money, I shortened it to I'm Italian, so all my transactions on Venmo show up as none of your business.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's always
yeah.
cutting down words.
And word economy, and like literally one word can change.
Yeah, put
your
one
whole
word in,
thing.
take one
It's
word
the
out.
performance of it too. So like you just did that now. You changed your inflection when you were delivering the line. Like that's a big part of it too. If
Yeah,
people
of
don't
course.
get that inflection or timing, or that's all stuff that you can work on.
And that was my big point too. Is people think, oh, this guy's he's funny. Like they don't take into consideration when these guys write an hour bit and they start one place and then they end where it does the whole show does a 360 and they end with like where they started. Like there's much more work and work that goes into a comedy bit than the guy just sitting there like, that joke's funny, this joke's funny. Like it's putting it together, making it a show that's not all over the place. That's there's like it's like a story almost with some things.
It's also mixed with like people that like because like dude, you go to like Mike's in the City, it's like tough because like you're mixed in with people that are literally wasting their own time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because there's a lot of people that really do want stand-up comedy as a full-time career.
Mm-hmm.
I am one of them. I really would love to tour the country, and that is
Yeah.
my job, and that's my living.
Yeah.
There are some people in the city. There are some people on Long Island where it's like they do it, and you're surrounded by them. You can't
all
help
over
it.
the place. Yeah.
And they're just doing it for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't really write. They've been doing the same set for 2 years.
There's people that are doing it as it's like their bowling night. You know, I've heard somebody say that where it's like, and that's part of the. There's always going to be people like that they're going out and just trying. That's their fun night out.
Now, as a comedian, what's your thoughts on that? Is it
Some
like a
people use
smack
it
in
for
the face?
Some people use it for the social aspect.
to post
A lot of
about it
people
or
do,
talk
yeah.
about it.
And,
You're saying like
Not even to
those
talk
people
about
annoy
it.
me.
I wouldn't even say to talk about. People just. I think there's people that are just bored and just go out and they're not trying to get better. I don't know.
But does that ruin your experience? Is
Well,
having
but, yeah.
well, that's my point. It's like
As people who take it seriously, a little
okay,
bit.
that's what I'm getting at.
Well, like, I don't expect every person to try comedy to think of it to try and make a career out of it.
Yeah,
Right.
But as long as you're trying to get better at it, then I'll respect you.
Right.
Like if you go and I see you at open mics and you're like trying new stuff and
Yeah.
like you're trying to get better. It's like I did a Laughing Buddha open mic last week, and this it's this classic city open mic comic. It's a guy wearing a blouse on stage.
Yeah.
And
Of course.
and he goes up on stage and he goes, "Yeah, guys, I have AIDS." And it's like,
Oh my
and
God.
it's like dead silent in the room. But this is why I love comics, because it's silent for like 1 second, and one guy just starts clapping.
Those are the best. Those are the best.
Because he's like trying to be serious or like.
Yeah.
But some people, it's like as thick as like because we're still like relatively when you're under 10 years in, you're still gonna be hitting open mics.
You're still brand new. We're all brand new.
Yeah, so you're gonna come across the people who, they're just kind of just doing it to blow off steam, or just some people really just want a microphone, and some people really just want to be right. They don't want to be funny. They go on a stage and they want to be right. And there's so many different forms of that.
Yeah.
You see in the city where there's people that are like, but it can be frustrating when you're at a mic and there's like, a shit ton of people there. You're trying to get
going and somebody's ruining it.
Somebody's like, they're
it's
going,
like spoiling the crowd.
They're going, and it's like they're like, what else? What do you want to talk about?
What else did I want to say? Oh God, yeah.
It's just that's just the open mic scene. You gotta get through that.
But then you'll also see, and I've seen a few people that started off like that, and I'm like, oh my God, what a waste. And then they kind of find their way.
They get better. Yeah.
So there's always that. So it's hard to like find out. It's just hard to like. There's definitely that part. There's a group of people that they're just not going anywhere. They're never gonna.
Yeah, well, some people are just they're not good. It's there is talent, because a lot of good stand up is a product of really hard work. Majority of
that's
it. But there also is people who there is talent, and some people just will go to open mics until the end of eternity and will never get better. And there's people who like write all the time, get up on stage like
it's just not
10 times a week, or putting in the work, and like they're so bad and unlistenable.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's just sad. It's like they're working so hard.
Somebody needs to tell them.
Hang
it up.
There's some people out there where you see that.
Yeah, but in reality, it really is no one's place unless you're unless they're my friend.
I guess you're right.
You can't, man.
You're right.
You can't, and they.
First of all, in the world of comedy, you can't be too confrontational. I learned that because I am a confrontational person, and I had to dial it back a lot.
Have you ever got into it with like other comics?
Honestly, on accident.
Really?
And I don't know if I want to get into the story because,
right,
you know what I
enough.
mean?
Yeah.
But it was. I'll be really ambiguous. How
Okay,
about that?
that's cool.
So,
I wish I had more confrontation in me.
See, I think it just comes from like interaction and how much patience you have for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, patience is a big
right. Like my patience can be thin sometimes, and other times when it comes to comedy, I like really do dial it back, and I really do take a deep breath of like, okay, like you're in a certain place and you're dealing with certain people. Be cool, and like I really have to say that to myself because. I cherish the relationships I have in stand-up, whether that person can help me or not.
Yeah,
right.
You need it because you don't want people to talk bad. In stand-up,
you want a good reputation.
Everyone's talking about everybody.
Yeah.
So I'll be really ambiguous. There was a show one time. All right, that's pretty ambiguous. And there was a person that was about to go on stage, and there was another person who... is a comic a little higher in the ranks than me. That person explained, hey, I'm coming from work. Can I just go on? And then, like, I have work early in the morning. Can, like, I just go on and then, like, let me go when I'm done?
They wanted to get up.
Get in, get out.
Yeah.
And the person that was about to go up, I didn't realize at the time, I'm pretty sure, how deep into comedy was. I think I was, like, 7 to 8 months deep into comedy. And I let that person that was passing by bump the next person, and the person I bumped it was the first show I ever produced.
Okay.
And I produced like 8 months in. Like that's way early.
You started right away, right?
Yeah, that was way early. And that person couldn't have been more pissed at me, and I apologized a million times. End of story.
Yeah. Are you friends with that person still?
Yeah, no, of course. And I booked them after, and it's all good, but it was something I did
on. You live and you learn.
It was a confrontation that happened 100% on accident. Yeah. Like I was so new into comedy, I really didn't even realize what I was doing.
You didn't even think about it that much. Yeah,
especially at that level, you don't know how the whole. It's tough to get a grasp on how it all works.
Don't they have like places give out also? like a token almost to bump somebody, or what's it called?
Oh, a chip, a poker chip.
Yeah.
Poker chip.
He
Christian
came
was
to
at Laughing Buddha.
yeah.
You know all about the chip.
Yeah, but that's for an open mic.
I have like
Talking
3
about a
chips
show.
in my car if you guys want them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it like is it more of like a you've done enough, you get one chance, where if you need to
No,
No.
for what you're talking about, it's an open mic chip, and what you do is if you stay the whole time at the open mic, you can win a chip, so you can go up first next time.
okay.
That's kind of what that. But with the show, it's just the producer makes the lineup, sort of a thing.
Yeah, you
and-
can't take a chip to an actual show.
Yeah, you know,
That would
that's-
be great though.
That's how it works.
I'm
If somebody
going in
showed up
front
with
of
a
you.
Buddha chip, like, yeah, I got a chip.
It's hard.
I'm gonna show up to Wonderlandville on a Wednesday and be like, "Yo, Brendan, come
By
on,
the way,
man."
there was another mic that was spawned off of a Buddha mic that 2 guys left Buddha, and they made their own chips.
too.
Yeah, and they were like, we do also accept Laughing Buddha chips. So you can go to their mic. Yeah, so you can bring their...
They take it and then they use it for themselves.
It was fantastic. Yeah. So we would bring, like, you could use a Laughing Buddha chip at their mic. And
Is that
it
a way
was
just to
fantastic.
steal comics?
It's
great
a
mic,
mic that's
actually.
no longer, but it was Patrick
wasn't
Holbert
that
and,
Golden something?
It was right on St.
V-Spot.
Mark's. The V-Spot, yeah.
V-Spot.
V-Spot.
That's so
Nice.
funny.
Yeah. It's great move.
But it's
Great
like
move.
anything.
They had their
They-
own chips too.
There's a there's a rule. There's there's rules
Yeah.
and everything, man.
The chips are, the chips. I think the chips are pretty good though for mics because they get people to stay the entire time, which you want.
Yeah.
It's good. Some mics are just like you go to some mics and it's like everybody leaves, and I'm guilty of that too. I'll bounce out.
I'm in and out.
Yeah.
I'm in and out. If I'm in the city and like I'm hitting multiple ones, I'm in and out because
Yeah.
some of the city open mics. I mean, not to say Long Island mics are any better, but I mean some of these guys, I just can't listen to
Tough,
them.
rough.
It's just the kid coming from NYU who's like 19. like,
Yeah, a lot of
just
young kids.
So it's just horrible, not funny.
Pretentious.
Just like and it's just so many varieties of not funny, and it's so hard. I don't have the stamina to even lend them an ear. I just get out of there.
By the way, I think the Long Island comedy scene has gotten a lot better in the last few years.
A lot of
Do you
there,
guys
there was a
agree?
wave. There was like a wave of new people like the past 2 years who just kind of revitalized. It was a lot of people willing to produce.
Yeah.
A lot of people willing to self-produce because they saw that there is not much opportunity as far as club-wise on Long Island. Also in the city, it's really not much opportunity club-wise either. Where in the city, like that kind of mentality sprung up first, where it's like, yo, we'll just produce the shows. Fuck them. They're making it impossible for me to get into this club. But so it's kind of like that happened and it grew that way. And also, like comedy venues on Long Island don't necessarily tend to a younger crowd historically, and that's been like that since the 70s. So it's a lot of younger comics producing, they want to bring them a comedy show that's tailored to their younger friends,
Yeah.
So that's a lot of that happened, and it grown from that, and there's more people taking it seriously and stuff. But
There is, and it wasn't. It's like you said. It's in the last 2 years things have really.
never.
And there's a lot of producers. You guys are doing. There's a lot of people producing. I think it's great.
There's a big do-it-yourself,
Yes.
and I think that it's gone with the growth of just comedy in general the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
The past 2 years, comedy's blown up, and I think there's a big do-it-yourself energy. Like, fuck it,
Is that too much of it though going around where now it gets like anything? It's
I think it does
too much to an extent. Like
does-
everybody's doing their own shows where it kind of.
It does more good than bad, I think.
I agree.
But there is bad because it's like when you produce a show, you kind of have a responsibility to comedy to put on a good show because every comedy show, at least half of the audience, this is probably their first comedy show.
Yeah.
So you want to hook them. In a sense, there's a little bit of pressure. You want to put on a good show. And what happens is a lot of people will book, 15 of their friends who all have 3.5 minutes worth of a set, and they'll do it at a dive bar. And it'll be just a disaster, or it's like they'll like a gigantic bringer show where there's 45 comics on one bill, and then that person's just like, well, this is how comedy is.
Let's talk about the Bagel Boss guy.
Yeah, you know what? Do you guys know like what happened this week with the Bagel Boss guy getting booked on that comedy show?
Yeah, he's booked at Gateway.
Yeah. So Gateway is a show that like I host a lot of that guy's
Preface
shows.
it that he got arrested this week.
He did, yeah. So
Yeah, I
he
didn't read the
this
whole
guy
story,
got
but he did.
arrested, and the same day, well, I think it was the next day, the Gateway guy, the guy that produces for Gateway, had him booked on a show, and it was hilarious. I don't know if you guys saw all the Facebook comments, but
I was one of them.
oh, were you? Okay, good for you.
And I'm an oxymoron because I said, yeah, you're going to pay someone to bomb. Meanwhile, I was going to book that guy at Nutty a week after his video came out.
We booked him on. Did we? I don't know if you guys know.
Did you book him?
So we booked him.
We can try and call him right now.
We got his phone number and we booked him.
I
on
have the manager's
show.
number, that guy.
Oh, you got
See,
it.
that's why he never picked up his cell phone anymore.
Yeah. So we
I got in touch with his cleaning service number.
we got him very early.
He
We got him
cleans?
the week before. Yeah.
Well, that's who was
He
kind
doesn't
of.
look very clean.
No, he doesn't.
Not at all.
But he's small. You can reach
Let's
those
call
small
him,
spaces.
and I'm going to call the manager.
we call
Let's
him.
see.
What if we
Let's
call
see
him
if
at the
he
same
picks
time?
up.
Call him at the same time.
Let's make something happen.
Let's.
Yeah, let's call it.
Dude,
Yeah,
we
call it.
we
This
we
is-
actually
Did he
rented
end up-
out Croxley's because he was supposed to be
we
there.
actually booked him
And-
for this
Croxley?
show. At
Oh,
Croxley.
He
Yeah,
booked
yeah.
him for this show,
Yeah.
and then he got booked by who was
He
it?
got
What,
booked
you
by
guys are
Chrissy
doing a live
Mayer's
podcast?
West Spot.
Well, we were going to do
Yeah,
it.
it was sort of
Gonna
live. We
try
had a
to
few
do
people
something,
on. But the guy
It ended
totally
up falling apart, but
he did like the Jim and Sam show that Monday. He did Stern that week, and you know he
Right.
did everything.
He got too big for us real
But
quick.
we saw, or Chris saw, that he was on Chrissy Mayer's Wet Spot on Kumia
which,
Radio.
by the way, I was at the stand last night. And she
I was
doing,
at the stand
Let's see
last
what he
night.
does.
Oh, I must
yeah?
have just missed you.
Were you upstairs?
No, I was just hanging out after.
Clearview
I
Cleaning
did
Service.
climb it, and then I wanted to check
don't
out
even
the new
answer that
stand.
anymore.
So I just hung
I
out.
did. I brought 4 people because I'm not above a bringer.
Nice.
By the way, you shouldn't be.
Oh, you did the Buddha?
I don't think anyone should be. If you're under 10 years,
No, you
bringers
can't.
are fine.
You did the
And-
Buddha bringer
maybe-
at the stand, though?
I did the Buddha bringer.
Was
Were
it
you
awesome?
in there? Were you in the corner?
No.
I thought
No, I
I
stayed
swear to
upstairs.
God, I saw you last night.
I stayed upstairs.
I was hanging upstairs. Big J Orkerson was hanging out.
No.
Who else was
I don't
hanging
think
out?
I
I
saw
saw
Big
Aaron
J.
Berg hanging out in the street. And
Those I do listen. Those
it was
those,
a 4-person bringer.
a 4-person bringer is fine, and you get a great tape out of it.
Right, and
That's
it's the
the thing,
brand
yeah.
new comedy club. Like I took the opportunity because I was like, honestly, it's a great venue, and I'll just do my set. You get a 4K video.
Yeah,
I didn't see a problem.
It's a great
those are
club.
good for yeah. You get a good tape from it.
Why? Because they give you like a tape of yourself and then you could use that. For
Yeah, you could
whatever.
pay for a tape, but I don't always get a tape, but I've had a tape where I'll use to try to get into like festivals or something. You know,
Right.
it barely works, but once in a while,
right.
it's just good to have a professional tape done.
It's good to have like a few tapes. I wouldn't say like the tape because you always look for like that one.
Yeah,
I think it's good to have multiple and like throw it on like do like a minute on Instagram and like put it up and like just
Exactly.
see how it
Yeah.
does. You know,
Wait, so you were
Bagel Boss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope Lenny Dykstra kicks his ass, but let's see if he can get in touch with the manager.
All right, let me call him. Let's see if he picks
Wait,
up.
when is that fight happening?
I think it's supposed to happen on the Stern Show.
No, the Stern Show
I
back.
thought he's producing.
He was
it
he
as-
was gonna fight Shuli Egar, one of the
Okay.
comedians, but he backed out. So now he's gonna do it it's in Atlantic City.
Oh, all right, do it, bro.
All right, let's discuss.
All right, so
let's
how are we gonna
discuss
do this? 'Cause
this
we're
plan.
gonna try to. Are we gonna do a live call?
I'll do a live call, but
All right.
I think if he knows I'm with other people, he
So
might.
should
like,
we just
he
shut
might
up?
like, yeah, let's pretend it's just me and him.
Okay.
Yeah, just pretend it's just you
All right.
two, and let's see what we get out of it.
Just speakerphone that into the mic.
Okay. All right, and then I'll talk into this.
Yeah, perfect.
Cool. Here we go.
Look at this, we're getting smarter.
Yeah.
He might pick up. I even asked, I was like, what's a good time you could talk today?
Hey, Mike, how's it going, man?
Bill, what's up, buddy?
So
So we'll just cut all that out.
Yeah.
That wound up being a real business call. I didn't know what.
I think a real move. I think a real business decision just got taken care of
Yeah.
because Mike left.
thought we were talking about the bagel guy.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was going on.
So I wonder. So does So that's the bagel guy's manager.
Yeah.
So is he trying to like produce comedy shows now?
So
Because I know he's doing Gateways.
So what it is that guy snuffed him up as soon as that video came
Yeah.
out, and this guy is
That's the smart guy.
yeah. So what he's trying to figure out how he can squeeze, the lemon from this dude,
Yeah.
who particularly has no talent whatsoever,
nothing.
with nothing to offer.
He's basically got to get as much money out of him as he can, as quickly as possible, and
dodge
then
him.
dodge him.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
So his plan is to get him into stand-up comedy, which is of course the bottom of the
Which
barrel.
you knew.
I guess.
You knew
Last
that's
resort.
that's what he was going to be
I
doing.
never would have thought the guy would have tried to do
We
stand
did say
up.
that a couple.
Yeah, yeah.
a couple-
I
I
thought he
don't
would have
think he
been
wa-
more
I
of like a
don't-
guest appearance.
I
guy.
don't think the bagel guy wants to do stand-up. I don't think he wants.
Yeah,
I
he
think
also-
this.
would
I
he?
think
He
this.
probably
I think
also
this
doesn't want to
manager.
get beaten up by Lenny Dykstra.
Yeah,
But
I think his manager has this scheme where it's like, this guy.
he's like, first we're gonna get you on all the talk shows, then we're gonna get Lenny.
He's done a
Dykstra.
very good job because he's hit every big name
he
fucking
was on
talk show.
Stern. He was on.
Yeah,
I mean,
Howard
the guy
Stern.
must be a great manager.
Yeah.
This guy's doing a lot for himself.
Imagine what he could do with someone with talent.
Yeah.
Can he get us that guy as a manager?
Hey,
Well, we just lost Mike to the to that
He's lost
guy.
Mike to the bagel boss guy.
I know you like the sound of bagel boss,
Yeah.
guy, but how about adult babies?
Adult babies, boss. I don't know what I'm
You
saying.
know what I think this is a good time for?
Chicks
My
picks.
picks.
Oh,
And I
okay,
got
all right. Throw
some
your
good
picks
ones
in
this
there.
week. Mike, I'll fill them in.
Chicks picks.
Chicks picks.
Chicks picks.
Okay, one, The Righteous Gemstones. I
Okay.
started it.
Can I just say one thing? And this might be a little controversial. I don't love Danny McBride. I feel like it's a lot of the same
He's
stuff.
either you love him or hate him, in my opinion.
But
He's
I
the
think
same
he's-
character.
I think he's
yeah,
funny.
that's what I'm saying. You either
I think he's
love
funny,
it or hate
but I'm
it.
like, it's the same thing.
This has a very good
But I
cast.
did watch the first 2 episodes, and I enjoyed it begrudgingly.
begrudgingly.
Okay.
Give me a break.
Wait, can we circle back? Because I remember when I was on the first podcast that I was on, we talked about Abducted in Plain Sight,
Yes.
Yeah.
which I did watch it,
And
and it's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen.
Oh,
so
that's a
crazy
great
good
documentary.
pick.
It was a spot on pick. I mean,
Also, one of the bigger documentaries to come
He
out.
gets mad.
takes
I would say
homepage
it was
of
low
Netflix.
hanging fruit.
Yeah.
but,
It's not like he had to bury into
He
the
cycles
treasure
through
chest to
what's
find
popular on Netflix and just picks
Well,
one.
not my next. All right, so the Righteous Gemstones, brand new on HBO. It's only 2 weeks in.
What's next?
It was hysterical.
Euphoria.
Yeah.
It's not like everyone's talking about
I
that.
put people onto that.
yeah, he's the
Yeah.
whole reason why the
Yeah.
show's successful.
You put people.
that. Can't believe HBO.
This
hasn't
one
reached
is
out
on Showtime. It's called Hitsville: The Making of Motown.
Okay, yeah, I've heard this.
This, if you like
Follow up. Who
Motown,
has Showtime?
I have Showtime. Showtime comes,
it basically
with
comes with HBO.
I have Showtime.
It's like if you get HBO,
It's HBO and Showtime.
Yeah.
it's HBO and Showtime. Just all about Smokey Robinson and Berry Gordy, how they started Motown. But if you love that music or you were into that music, you'll love. It was a well done documentary about
All
it.
right, all right.
How do the people feel about Chicks Picks? Do
They go either way.
Do the listeners comment?
Yes, I do get a lot of people who love my picks.
I do hear that every once in a while, but then my biggest argument, and I love that, I do mess with him with his chicks picks a lot, but they're just, they're
He reads
out
the
there.
IMDb page.
They're like the,
I don't do that anymore. I just say what it is now. I say what it is.
You watch it.
Yeah.
You put in the work.
I watch it. I put it. I say this is what it is. It's good. Go watch
by the way,
it. I
I
don't want to
can't
give
believe
too
we
much.
started out with a phone call, and
And
Mike,
now he's in my garage.
Mike is totally
Pitching.
he's making deals over
I
there.
wasn't even supposed to be on this podcast. Thank God he brought me.
It would have been us three idiots.
There would have been a 20-minute pause in the middle.
We
of this.
invited Nicolia on here, and now he's making deals from the garage.
The last one you guys might like it, and I think it's fitting because I have a bunch, and I'm choosing this because he's a comic. Do you guys remember The Amazing Jonathan?
yeah.
Yeah,
I've
Of
heard
course
about
you like
this,
The
yes.
Amazing
Okay.
Jonathan.
Yes, I heard about this.
Growing up, I thought he was the funniest fucking guy ever. Anybody who doesn't know him, The Amazing Jonathan was this like spoof fucking
Yeah.
magician,
Right.
basically. And he would just do like dark magician tricks, and they weren't like, I don't know, it was just hilarious. And he was like a rated R version of a magician, and I always found him funny.
Is he dead now?
He's well, You know what? I meant to Google if
I
he's
don't
still
think he's
alive. I
dead,
don't think he's died yet.
but he's not doing
But he
well.
was
He's not doing well,
diagnosed with a heart issue, and he had 1 year to live. 4 years later, he was still alive.
Typical
and
magician.
He did this.
Making magic.
Basically, he put out to do this documentary, and a guy starts doing the documentary. As he's doing the documentary, he learns that the Amazing Jonathan hired another person to do a documentary on him. So now he's doing his. There's another crew doing theirs. This happens 2 more times. There's 4 crews doing a documentary.
About
And
the
this
Amazing
is
Jonathan?
about the Amazing Jonathan. And this particular documentary was like the original guy who got axed. And
Axed?
asked. Oh,
I don't know. I just... Go on,
you.
sorry. Sorry to...
So, the guy, I don't know, he basically does a doc about how there was 4 documentaries on him while he was dying, and he's still alive,
And
though.
he's still alive.
So he actually thought that whole thing was a hoax.
I'm so confused.
I do want to see it. Where can I,
I
watch
think
it?
it's. I think
It's on Hulu.
Hulu.
It's on Hulu.
Yes.
I'll check it
All
out.
right, I heard good stuff about it. Mike is
back.
back.
I had to take a
we
phone
only did-
call.
What
You
happened
might have
when
to cut that whole thing
Maybe
out. Because
I feel bad because maybe we want to take that out.
Yeah, we can
because,
take
Oh,
it.
no,
We're
it's
gonna.
already gone.
Well, he
buddy.
wasn't expecting, the cold call, and to be honest with you, it wasn't that interesting.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
Which is fine. We can cut it out.
yeah,
we
we
can
can
edit
cut it
that
out.
right out.
yeah.
So what's going on? You got a deal over there in place?
Nothing. I think it would. Honestly, I don't really want money from anyone. If Bagel Boss guy wants help writing jokes, I mean, hey,
Ooh, all right.
hey,
there you go.
hey, everyone was a beginner. I mean, like I know he's a viral,
Everybody was a beginner,
and
but
you know,
everybody wrote their own jokes.
right, and he's viral. I mean, dude, if he wants a couple pointers and I could help the purpose, and you know,
Yeah.
that can lead to whatever. I mean, dude, I don't want money. It's just like if I could help him out, whatever.
That's
He's got a gig coming up. He's worried about memorization. I'm like, dude, you're worried about memorization. I went on stage with a paper for a year straight.
Yeah.
You know, so
Oh, he's.
I have
He's going to be a train wreck. Please don't help him.
as
Let
much
him
of
burn.
as much of a dickhead I am, and as mean and an asshole I am. For some weird reason, I get a soft spot randomly for random people.
All right.
And you got a
You
soft
know?
spot for this guy?
I don't know if I have a soft spot for the bagel guy, but like he can't be all that bad.
Oh, I
Oh,
think
he
he's
can
as
be. I
bad
think
as
he's a
he's
horrible
made out to
human
be. I
being, but
really do.
No, I feel. I think there's some deep. There's a deep. Well, he's clearly been bullied. I mean, he's 5 foot.
Yeah, it's got to be
He's
rough.
5 foot. That's like.
I think he's got some mental issues.
I think there's some mental issues in there. And
I think deep down, I think he's just been a hurt man.
oh yeah, but you know when you treat everyone like shit.
But it's
Yeah,
like,
but this is like all his entire life is just
Yeah.
been thrown. Everybody's been talking. I don't
just
know.
imagine.
I understand that part of it.
But it's like his bullying went outside of high school. Like he's like what, like 50 or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's like 50
Most
years
people get
straight
out
of
of it.
like high school
Yeah.
bullying, where where people go, "Hey, you can't go on this ride, huh?" Or like putting their hand on his forehead and he's trying to swing punches.
I think what bothers a lot of people now, though, is he's really trying to capitalize on all this, and it's very clear he's trying to capitalize.
He's
But why
starting
shouldn't
problems.
you, though?
I
Every
get that.
person
I-
would capitalize
yeah.
on
I get
a
that.
chance to blow up.
But then
To make, if you don't have money, you're going to do it.
I understand
It's
that.
stupid not to. In that
I understand that, but then there's you see him trying to capitalize on stuff, and he put out a couple of videos where it was clear that
It's like set up.
it was set up,
Yeah.
and
You
so
know
that's
what?
where it's
We're
like,
the idiots for buying into it, and there's going to be plenty of idiots who go to that AC.
course.
There's a
show.
lot of people just
Yeah.
talking about it,
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
We're talking
and that's
about
the
it.
whole point.
Yeah.
So
That's the whole
Yeah.
point.
so like we were saying, that other comedy producer that we know, he's putting on his show at Gateway,
Yeah,
right?
September 7th.
So a lot of people throughout Long Island, you saw he was getting a lot of heat for this.
So I think.
What do you think?
I think 90% of these attendees, if not 98%, there's no real number. This is just made up. But most of those people are going to be hecklers. Most
Yes,
of those
probably.
people are going to be YouTube comments and Facebook commenters live in person, just like he's the Bagel Boss live.
Yeah.
All of these shit comments are people, and all of those people will be at Gateway Comedy Club.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a joke.
There better be
And I think
there
it's-
better be security, because I'm telling you, someone's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised.
This guy doesn't care. He'll fight people in the middle of a parking lot. He'll do it.
And have you been to where he's doing it?
Yes.
Okay. He's doing at Lake the Clarion in Lake Ronkonkoma.
Yep.
I never did that
Okay.
venue because I refused to bring to a hotel.
Don't. Did you bring to the hotel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. My second show ever was at that hotel.
Oh wow.
And what I opened up for the Comedy Tornado.
Oh.
Oh, why have I heard that?
Paul Veneer.
Paul Veneer, yes.
I don't know if you know
By the way,
this.
the greatest headshot I've ever seen.
Oh my god! First, I just don't even get his hair.
It's like
It's just for those of you who, first of all, Google Paul Veneer, and just his hair is just so scraggly.
There's
It just
it's like it was dipped in a grease trap.
it's greasy and the curliest hair I've ever seen in my entire life. And his headshot's him like with his eye. Anyways, he's been called the Comedy Tornado by Johnny Carson.
Yes.
So he's had that.
He's
so-
hanging on to that.
So he's had that same credit for like 40 years, and so anyways, so yeah, I performed there, and I opened for him, and by
What a
open
lucky
for him,
guy.
I had to bring six. I brought 6 of my coworkers, and I bombed horribly. And then he goes on stage,
There
and
he is.
he goes on stage, and he does literally 2 hours to the point where everybody's like, "Yo, get me the fuck out of here." But yeah. So I've been in that basement, and that's just that place is so gross. I mean, it's just a gross hotel. It just it's
Now, the other thing about that hotel is also it has a bar in the lobby. Did you get to the bar?
no.
Okay. I did it. The last time I did it was a Saturday night, and there was a bar. At the end of the show, the noise in the bar overtook that little room downstairs.
Oh my god.
And there was everybody that lives in Lake Ronkonkoma or wherever that started. That was their big night out. There was a fight outside. There was an ambulance that was called.
Mm-hmm.
It's an awful place. And I would host those. I started doing that over the summer. He had me hosting these shows. I'm an awful host. I don't know how to host a comedy show.
Yeah.
So I started hosting these ridiculous shows there for bringers, and I can't imagine the nightmare it's going to be when Chris Morgan is there.
Yeah. Well, I when I performed there for Paul Veneer, there are event rooms. There's 2 event rooms, and he rents out like an event room where you'd have like a Sweet 16 or something, and he does a comedy show in there. And there's also another room across the hall, and across the hall there was a quinceañera. So while the comedy show's going on, they were so loud. So on stage you're like, I give it up for like Victoria, go to the dance floor. And then it's like all Spanish. It's like and like you hear that just like in the background. And I'm like on stage, like my god, and oh my god, I was so hacky at that point, like where you're just like, well, all your jokes are like, come on, mom.
Yeah.
Serious.
Brendan said something that excited me. that you don't know how to host the comedy show.
No, I don't.
I don't either, and I've hosted a few of my own and
Yeah.
other people's, and it's just like, you ever hear that Louis bit where he's like, I don't know how to start shows,
Yes.
where it's
Yeah,
like you
that's
just
hysterical.
dog shit.
I'm the worst.
It's just like what you want, like it's like the big boom, like it's like the Big Bang, where it's like, okay, everything's supposed to happen now, and I am doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's like whatever happens is my responsibility.
It's awkward. I am not that guy. I'm not a start off the show.
The host is the
guy.
show, and you got to be a fucking motherfucking ball of energy.
You do, and
And if you're not a host.
I am not a ball of energy, and I try to be, and
Yeah, you're not a ball of energy.
oh my god, and
You're a
like,
ball of fat.
all right, and I've tried to it's like this is the gigs you get, and that particular Gateway guy, he hires me for hosting a lot of his shows, and it's been rough. You were there for
Oh yeah.
yeah. The last time I did that Clarion
not
show,
good.
the last time I did that Clarion show though.
Wait,
at
that's
the-
where I was at.
No, we
Oh,
did a
okay.
different one. But at the end of the night, after everybody's gone up, he goes, do me a favor, go back up there, and I talked about this on the podcast, but he goes, you have to promote Fat Elvis. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. The next show is Fat Elvis is going to host. I'm like, what am I going to say? He goes, tell him he eats a lot. And so now I'm like, all right. And I'm not off the cuff. I'm like, Fat Elvis is going to be here next. It was so embarrassing. And now I can't imagine what Bagel Boss. I kind of want to go to the Ron Cockman show.
We should go to the Bagel Boss.
Yeah.
Because I want to fucking curse him out too. Because he was just going to no-show us.
That's what the audience is going to do.
I know.
Yeah, they will. They will. That's a rough crowd.
They know. Because the guy... Listen.
I have a history with him, though.
Yeah.
Do you know him from the past?
No, I talked to him
The
a handful
cleaning.
of times. I'm the one who booked him.
We got him very early on. Like right.
That happened the next day.
On this podcast.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he didn't call us. Somebody posted something
Dude,
on social media, and that's how we found out he got booked. And we're like, this is the same time as he's supposed to come to us. And then he finally answered one of my calls and was like, yeah, I booked this show, and and then now he's...
And Chick called him like 45 times in a row.
Probably played
You
it.
called me a lot, man.
call him 45
You called me.
Yeah, you had a little beef with him, right?
I had for a week. I hated him. I still hate him.
Yeah. So, it'll be interesting. Now, would you put him on one of your shows?
I was going to put him on Nutty, but I think that was just me being so worried about people showing up to Nutty. Because, dude, a lot of people... You were at Nutty, and I really appreciate that you came out and supported. There was, a little gene in my brain that was like, yo, there might not be people there. Because a week before the show, I only had, 8 tickets sold. It's crazy how last-minute comedy
Everybody
shows
buys
are sold. It's scary, because it's like...
You never know what's going to happen.
What the hell am I going to do?
This changed the way I act when somebody invites me to a wedding now, and I have to send back that little card that says I'll be there. Because I used to wait. Sometimes I didn't even send it at all. But now I'm like, oh.
The longer you wait, the more you're ruining someone's life.
Yes, you're ruining somebody's life. People want to know. I'm like, buy tickets now, today. Yeah, it's but yeah, that show was great. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you. And there was actually a guest named Chris Morgan, and I thought that it was the big.
Really?
And it was, dude, the bagel guy was 2 days old.
Yeah,
he was
right there,
fresh on the Barstool post.
Oh.
And I literally was like, the bagel boss just bought tickets to my show, and it's another Chris Morgan. It was someone else.
That guy probably hates him now.
And
Yeah.
I got in touch with that guy, and I was gonna do it. And they were like, how much? And I was like, yo, honestly, this show's been planned for months, and you were famous as of 2 days ago. I'm going to give you $100. And they were like, nope.
They wouldn't do it.
And I was like,
well, that's
honestly,
the other thing. We weren't giving him anything. He asked me how much it was, and I told him free.
well, to be honest with you, to do business and exposure is exposure. Listen,
Yeah.
man, the amount of views, I don't have that. And to do that, I was like, okay, I'll pay, but I'm not giving you my whole,
No, definitely not.
I'm not cashing out on you. I was like, dude, you're 2 days famous. I'll give you $100. Show up next week.
And that's generous.
Right. And they told me no, and I said, okay, anything else wouldn't be fair.
Because that manager that's there now is only getting $10 out of that, so he's probably
Right, you don't care.
Oh boy, this
If
guy.
if I said 300, I feel like it would have been a maybe.
Yeah,
I don't want to give away 300.
But
yeah.
would you? You're not going to give 300 away to this
No.
idiot.
No.
Pay the comics that have actual talent. You
Right.
had good comics on that show.
I did. I had great
That
comics
guy
on that
doesn't
show.
deserve a dime from comics, in my opinion.
Right.
He's an asshole. I hate him.
Whatever.
But I'm still entertained by everything.
It is very entertaining.
It's so sad. I actually want to help him. Like if he's writing a joke, like I kind of want to help it.
I don't want you
But
because
I
I
feel
want to
like
see
I
him
don't think he'll
bomb.
listen.
He doesn't seem like
He
would
won't
listen.
think that I won't know what I'm talking
But
about.
he's probably
Seem like the
listening to
most
this
receptive
manager,
guy.
so you never know.
Yeah, who knows what to say? Yeah.
But I feel like I'd rather him just bomb on his own than you help him and
Are you gonna
maybe
go?
be funny.
I feel like you're gonna go.
No, I probably won't go. He knows I won't go.
So this guy had a cleaning service before this.
Well, apparently, yeah, it was
Out of
Clearview
his van?
cleaning service.
out of his
that
van. Clear view.
Clear view. Yeah.
I guess
I'm
so.
promoting his fucking
now we're
cleaning
promoting-
service.
Clear view. He can't see over the steering wheel. Thank you.
Did he live in his van?
Apparently, and
that's
then he
what
did
I
a whole
heard,
Cribs
yeah.
thing with the van.
Did he
Did
do
he
a
do
Cribs
a Cribs
thing?
thing with the van?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I mean, the whole MMA thing, They're feeding into what's popular.
Yeah. Hey, they're not wrong.
Comedy's popular right now,
Yeah,
so
man.
of course they'll say yes. It's local. They don't even have to go to the city for it.
They don't. They're definitely doing the right thing with him in the regards to what you would do with a viral star with no talent. You just get what you can while you can.
You know what's sad? The September 7th is an open mic. He's literally trying.
It's an open mic.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be trying material. This isn't massaged material. This isn't, edits. This is like, when you leave the seat up and you know what I mean? Do
you think he's just going to talk about him being short and
what I think
he'll probably try to fight somebody.
It's going to be raw thoughts. It's going to be a lot of screaming, and there's a lot of misconceptions about comedy, which is why we all shake our head to it.
Yeah,
right.
Because he's going to do. He's going to do what you think he's going to do.
Yeah, he's going to do exactly what you think he's going to do.
What's the deal with bagel stores, huh? Why do they put so much cream cheese in the middle? I'm like, whoa, calm down. That's way too much cream cheese.
Don't you hate when a tall dude tells you to calm down in a bagel store?
That'll be like with his opening, and everyone will be like, ah!
And then you go viral. What bullshit is that?
Yeah.
You know what? They never talk about the guy who tackled him. That guy's never got an interview.
No,
should get
guys left in the dust.
That was the easiest.
Maybe we can get him.
Because he's the only reason why it really
You should get him.
That was in the video.
You should do it. Then
We
have
should
him
try to find him.
Yeah, you should have him
The
break
guy
down.
who tackled the bagel.
It's probably his
boss.
man.
It was
It's probably
so
the guy you were
quick.
talking
Because he's
to.
the one who. That's why that video goes viral, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's funny until he gets tackled, and
He
then
gets-
it's hilarious.
Because Barstool posted a shorter version. There's a version where he's on top of him, and he's like
Yeah,
the guy's
yeah, yeah.
straddling him and has him in full mount.
There was
and
that
like he's just
second
holding
angle.
him down. It's so.
insane.
Oh my god. That video is like when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh my god!" I remember I first saw it because you reposted it on your story. You're like, "This is the most Long Island thing I've ever seen in my entire
Long
life."
Island shit I've
Yeah.
ever seen. It was super Long Island, is right.
But there's like so much breakdown. Like nobody, like someone's got to find the staff member and like just break
Did
down.
you ever
the
see the
situation.
after videos when he finally walked out? Because there's a couple other
I actually
videos.
did see that, yeah.
That's just he's still cursing at everybody, and people are just filming him as he's walking out.
Yeah.
Why is it okay for women to say, "Oh, you're 5 feet on dating sites. You should be dead"? That's okay.
That's okay.
You hear nobody. Women in general have said it on dating sites. You think I'm making that shit up? Everywhere I go, I get the same fucking smirk with the biting lip.
Fucking guy.
Shut your mouth. You're not God or my father or my boss.
That's quotable.
Yeah,
That is
That's
quotable,
quotable.
man.
That's where he
not
went
God,
right.
my father, or my boss.
Step outside. Huh? I'm not
I like when he chest bumps him.
Yeah.
You shut up too. Just like
Are those gym shorts? I love the shut the fuck up.
Oh God,
That guy did exactly what he should do.
he
Yeah.
did. Fucking choke him.
It was so like technically sound. Like it just like he like tackled him, but without really even hurting him. Just like taking control of the
Yeah, he almost
situation.
took him down gently.
It was like
it was a subdue more than a
Yeah.
yeah, he subdued him
And then he choked him
We
out
need
a
to
little
find
bit.
this guy. He's probably some. He's
like a
probably
tired
he's got
fucking-
like a family of four and like just a regular guy.
I would love
Catch
to
him
know his
outside
background.
riding a mower.
He's an electrician or something. But yeah, that's that guy's a hero. But I don't know. It's fucking me, Mike, and Brendan live in a retarded realm of society,
Yeah.
which is known as comedy,
No,
where
and
it's
the-
like
and-
where it's just like I'm in it and like. Can't believe like this is even real life because it's so retarded. It's so the things that we come across.
Yeah.
There was a huge like debate on Facebook. The guy who books him. And then everybody's like, "This is destroying the guise of comedy, the validity of comedy." It's like, shut up. The whole thing's idiotic and stupid at the end of the day.
The whole purpose of this is asses in the seats.
Yeah,
You're
that's
right.
it.
Because
It
if
is a
that
bar
doesn't happen,
business.
there's no laughs.
Don't forget, it's a bar business.
And it's a bar with a showroom.
Yeah, that's
The
it.
whole point is to get laughs, and there's no laughs unless there's asses in the seats.
So you got to get them there
The whole
first.
point is getting the asses in the seats. And guess what? September 7th is more of a tribute to the other comics that are on that bill.
Yeah, they're gonna get
Yeah.
a decent crowd.
They're gonna
there.
get it. They're gonna get a sold out show. Beautiful.
Yep.
They're gonna get exactly what they wanted.
Yeah.
They will.
They're gonna get a sold out show. They're gonna do their A material, and like every comedy show, there's gonna be no industry there. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, not one person is gonna make him famous.
Nope,
But,
it's not going to mean anything at the end of the day. But you know,
Is
the
that
other
really like so? Nobody's ever really out in the crowd looking for
Not anymore,
combos.
man.
Not really.
With the invention of the internet, I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
There's no one scouting talent like that anymore.
no
It's
reason to,
all
I guess.
online.
Yeah, there's no guys in the back of the room.
There's random Buddha bringers that Roger Paul is there, but
Yeah.
it's like it's like skipping a rock, and it usually just falls after one dunk.
Yeah,
You know
some
what I
guys
mean?
get
It's like-
some guys, the right guys there, and maybe they book them on the show, or maybe they see him for the. But it's few and far between. What that stuff
yeah,
happens.
me and Mike have talked about this a lot because we talk about just comedy in general. But like when I look at it, because like how good you are on stage really doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't. I know guys who are 20-year vets, 25-year vets. At the end of the day, they're amazing, incredible on stage, but they still have 0 fans.
Yeah.
No, or
Right.
like they have like 10
Yeah.
fans. Like they can't make any money off of it. But if you look at it, the only people that are really eating are people that have an internet base, people that have a successful podcast who make successful videos.
Yeah.
That's just an aspect. That's where people get discovered, and it's just
Yeah.
that's the
it.
only thing. And then you do stand up almost as a byproduct afterwards. But it's not unless you're like doing something like what Andrew Schultz is doing, where it's constant clips on his Instagram.
Great clips
Yeah,
too.
he's doing it smart.
Fantastic clips. Like he doesn't have. He just put out he's putting out a crowd work special, which is like
Yeah.
whatever. But he doesn't have a material special where it's like written. It's just always clips, just constantly. But that's really what it is. That's kind of like the blueprint of what the future of comedy is going
Right,
to be.
yeah.
It's how you get booked in clubs is in the future is not going to be an audition. It's going to be they're going to look and they're going to be like, how many Instagram followers do you have?
Yeah, how many
We
likes
only-
does he get?
We only book people who have 10,000 followers, and that's how it's going to be. And it's only going to be
Yeah.
like that. It's
Yeah.
clubs. If they can't get people in there, and majority of clubs are shitholes.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 clubs that are in New York City. The only nice ones are Comedy Cellar, Gotham, and Caroline's. All the other ones are disgusting places.
I will go ahead and say that the stand,
The stand
is
is good.
gorgeous.
The stand is beautiful.
You have to go, man. We'll go sometime.
I haven't been to the stand,
stand
but
is-
all the
the
other
stand
ones
is a
are
good
pretty gross.
Every other one is garbage.
The stand is a fucking 5-star hotel.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
Like
yeah.
it looks like a 5-star
It's
restaurant,
beautiful, man.
They
and
got
then all of a sudden there's microphones.
they got a great, and the old stand was great too. I love the old stand. They have great food. They did it right. I think they're a good one.
It's a minority though. But
Yeah.
once you
Oh,
get
for
it, once
sure.
you get out of New York City, it's like, oh my god,
yeah.
these places are like they gotta have cockroaches.
Yep.
I mean, I've done Connecticut, and it's just like these places are disgusting.
Did you do
They're
City
horrifying. I never done City Steam,
Steam?
but it
that
closed.
just shut down. Yeah.
That's good. I think that's just the trend. I think that's going to be the trend.
It's because the Funny Bone opened in Hartford.
That's it.
That's why, and that's what happened. And the Funny Bone has a few locations, and it's all about show business. It's all about who's running a better business.
Yeah.
It's all business. You can be funny, you can be super talented,
But it only
but if
takes
you don't
you so
take it
far.
seriously and you don't take your business seriously, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
This Bagel Boss guy, this is his business, and he's taking it seriously.
He's doing what he
I
can
don't know.
with it.
I don't know about a Gateway Comedy Show, but he's taking it serious.
Yeah, he's trying to get whatever he can with it.
I think he should be doing a comedy show in the city because there's more exposure, there's better exposure. That's my 2 cents, but no one gives a fuck about my 2 cents because I have 1,200 Instagram followers.
Well, they might get. Who knows what the hell's going on? Yeah, I don't know. There's so much stuff in the city, though.
I
There's
think
so
he's
much
really
other stuff
just.
to
I don't
do.
think they're trying to blow him up. I think the guy's trying to get as much money
Yeah, they're
out of
sucking
him
everything
as he
they
can,
Right.
Well,
as quickly as he can before his 15 minutes are up.
yeah,
This
and
guy is not in it for the long run.
he's at 14 minutes right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's already been
But, yeah,
arrested.
listen, I
He's
can't-
gotten into numerous altercations, and he's gonna get into he's gonna have the fight maybe, and this comedy thing will not last.
I can't hate on him trying to do.
I'm not
what
hating
he
on
can
him
do right
I'm
now
saying,
while
yeah,
it's
get
while
what
it's
you
hot.
can
You know?
while you can.
It'll be interesting to see where it all goes. I don't know.
If they're smart, he'll win this fight with Lenny Dykstra.
It's very
If they're
possible.
Win. No, but I'm saying because
I'm
realistically,
sure Lenny Dykstra's getting a ton of money.
Yeah,
to-
this should be like a trilogy.
Oh, you want a trilogy?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, God.
It's like
Getting ahead of
Canelo and
yourself
Triple
there, huh?
G.
Yeah.
Canelo, Triple G.
Well, we're getting towards the
Holyfield Bow.
we're getting towards the end here. I think, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
we
it's good
gotta-
to wrap
But,
it up. It's been a
so
little
you guys,
while.
all right. So let's Comedy Zest. What do you guys got going on? Like you have shows.
Charlotte's.
You have Charlotte's and Farmingdale.
Speakeasy, September 17th. It's actually a collaborative.
That's
with
a Tuesday, right?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
collaborative with a city comic, and I brought some New York City creativity to the island. It's a group text show, so it's going to be a comedy show, and then behind it, I'm going to give the audience an iPad, and they're going to be able to put GIFs on the screen. There's going to be a screen behind the comic, or they're going to be able to throw little roasts, little comments.
Yeah, it's
It's an
That's pretty
interactive comedy show.
That's
awesome.
I'm
I
drinking
like
the Kool-Aid. I'm trying to be a
no.
little more
I heard
modern.
that show was a lot of fun. I think Kaleli did it,
Yeah, now he's the host for the Farmingdale one.
and it was supposedly it was a great show and it was a lot of fun. So I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Well, Taleli's
So
a funny guy.
we got a lot of Farmingdale people listening. Come out to Charlotte's. That'll be a fun show. September 17th. What time does it start?
Tuesday, 7:30.
7:30.
Christian's on it. I'm on it. Got John Butera headlining. 'Cause
Nice.
business is business. You got McKenna and you got Rooney.
Nice.
So we got some killers. Rooney's headlining
Rooney's
this weekend.
killing
So
it.
we got some
Good
killers
for-
on there.
Nice.
Dennis Rooney is hilarious. Glad to see him headlining. What's he doing? Governors this weekend, right?
Yeah, brokerage. I think I'm gonna pop in on Friday and watch that.
Nice.
Actually, yeah.
All right, good stuff. What else? What other?
Anything else you guys
any
wanna
other
plug,
any
shows?
Christian, what do you got?
Follow my Instagram at Mingle with Christian. And,
Mingle with Christian.
Yeah, I think my next. When is my next show? I think my next show might be Charlotte's.
Yeah, I don't really, dude. With Labor Day and everything, yeah. My next show is like September 17th. I got some time.
All right, nice.
Yeah. Come to Charlotte. Charlotte's will be fun. So.
All right, guys.
All right.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for
Follow
coming
Comedy
on.
Zest. Wait, you guys have an Instagram too, right?
Comedy, yeah. It's Comedy Zest, no space. I'm Mike Nicolia Comedy. This was fun as fuck.
Thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah.
I really
Hey, yeah,
appreciate it.
if
It's
you
good to
guys,
have-
if you
it's
made
good
it
to have
this
other
far,
comics.
thanks for listening, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us. We had a lot of fun. I enjoy talking about the comedy stuff.
Yeah, it was fun.
And until the next time, we're out.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right, later.